to our number 4 tight end, Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green. And we all had him number 4, which obviously brings us to our consensus number 4. So this guy is basically an extra large wide receiver, is how he plays. He's got good yak ability, and he runs incredibly hard after the catch to gain extra yards. And he's got a pretty wicked stiff arm to throw in there, too. He's got very good hands. He catches the ball smoothly with confidence, and he's got good ball tracking downfield. And I think he's smart with knowing how to gain leverage and use it for contested catches. And he's had great production the past 2 years.
Yak is really his selling point. 0.29 missed tackles forced per attempt is up there with the running backs. Better than most of the receivers in this class, aside from Luther Burden. And he's just a PFF star. I mean, his PFF grades are crazy. At 95 overall grade, offense almost 96 receiving grade. He was the whole offense for this offense. Yeah. Sharper routes than some receivers, actually, which I was impressed with. And he's only 20.6 years old. Still very young. Wow. He can grow into his frame. What I was most surprised with was people say he's a not great blocker because of his size and everything, but he still earned a 75 run block grade, which is insane. It's higher than pretty much all the other tight ends in his class. Most other tight ends are in the low 50s, high 50s.
I have to read those stats again. 1,555 yards in 12 games this season.
That's so much.
I know that he plays in the MAC, the Mid-American Conference. It's smaller schools, but still, that is domination every single week. Yeah, his stiff arm is loaded like a force field. It like propels him forward. But let me get into the cons. I think his top speed is okay at best. 4.71 40-yard dash kind of made sense to me. This way he runs, he looks unathletic. His toes are pointed out like a penguin when he runs.
His hips are so stiff.
It just looks really weird, but he made it work in the MAC, but NFL's a different beast. I think that whenever he cuts or changes directions, it really does slow him down, but he was just good enough to shake off nearly every Mid-American Conference defender that he possibly could. I think that he is obviously still unproven as a route runner as well. He was often just given the ball in space and just let him work some magic after the catch. He's not a traditional tight end. Like, teams have to be creative if you're going to draft this guy. This guy is more of an H-back who can move all over the formation. Here's where he played snaps-wise in 2024. 26.2% of his snaps were out wide, like as a wide receiver. 31.7% in the slot, and then just 38.3% in line beside the offensive tackles, which is actually a higher percentage of inline snaps than Mitchell Evans we just talked about. That's higher than Colston Loveland this season as well. So he can play as a tight end, and Carson said his run blocking grade was pretty darn good. My question is there going to be a team that's going to be creative enough to use him? Harold Fannin Jr. is probably going to go in like the 3rd round, maybe somewhere around there, but high enough that teams will want to get something out of him. He needs to go to a team that actually is willing to dive into what he's best at and get him on the field and use him in that way.
Summary comp: wide receiver-esque tight end that bullies defenders after the catch. And then my comp, I love a slower Deebo Samuel. It moves the same with the tight hips and like the dinosaur kind of build.
I was caught in the middle of a railroad track.